customer who wishes to buy them. Customized whereas is a software that is commissioned by a specific customer to meet their own needs. One best example I can tell you is suppose I go to a pastry shop and suppose I want to order a cake which is specific to my needs, maybe my son's birthday, and he is interested in some kind of football or theme, some theme oriented cake. I order that. That is you call customized, right? Or I can do other thing which is already there, which is present. I will buy that and I will come. So that is nothing but generic. So software products can also be generic or customized products. What do I mean by generic? Generic means they are developed for everyone and for every purpose use. So it is like what happens here is the software company understands the general needs of the customers. Okay, some person comes like they will think maybe at present the market is like this, so let me include this or develop this product, and he comes up with this. So he does his own analysis. Let's take for example, maybe now the trend is this and this cake. So I gave you an example of the cakes or the pastry. So now trend is people buy most of the times red velvet cake. So they think about, yes, that is the most uh, what most hot one or the most selling one. They use that and they come up with that, and they analyze it, and anyone who can come can buy that and go. Whereas in customized products, what happens is the customer specifically tells the person developing or the company which is developing the product, like what are their needs and what are their requirements, right? Like something like I want so and so, this is the requirement, and the developer or the company has to develop the product based on the needs of the customer. So this is about generic and customized products. So can you now tell me, give an example for a generic product and a customized product, software product, not a real time example. Someone give. Yes. Yeah. Can someone give example? Adobe Photoshop. Adobe Photoshop is generic or customized, Tushar? Generic antivirus. Generic. Okay. Fine. Antivirus is also generic. Agreed. A customized product. Customized. No. Let's say Indian Airlines or railway systems. Visual Studio, yes, generic. Fine. Websites. Websites is Kamal, generic or customized? Customized. Good. See, now when I am coming up with a when I am coming up with a um, when I am coming up with a product or something like website is one example your friend said is a customized product. What does that mean is, let's say for example RBTU web. There are a number of websites, right? Each of their websites have their own design, have their own requirements and their own way of presenting data, right? So these are all customized products. Whereas your Microsoft operating systems, your office, everything will be a generic product. So did you get the difference between what is generic product and what is customized products? Yes. Okay, fine. Any doubts in this? Why are we What does the software engineering have to deal with generic and customized products? See, if I am developing a generic product, what happens is I have an own way of developing that. The steps followed or rules or guidelines followed will be different. If I'm developing a customized product, then the rules and the guidelines will be different. So let's say, for example, I ask you to develop a website. Okay. Now, if I am asking you to develop a department website, will I just say go and develop on your own? No, right? What I do, you will sit along with me and you will ask how it should be. Right? What should be the page like? What should be like? Where? Which photos? Along with the, I don't know how many of you have worked. If you are your seniors, you would have seen each and every requirement, even the font and even the picture. We should say what is required and what is not required. But when we come to generic product, what happens is you don't have anyone to say what is to be developed, what features should be added, anything like that. You use your survey or you use your intuition or your decision to come up with that product. Maybe you do some analysis. Simply you cannot develop, right? Maybe you will see who is using what, how the different competitors are, and you will develop. So generic products are the way in which we develop or steps involved in developing a generic product will be different from a customized product. So generic products are CAD, in your example, graphics programs and all of that. Customized product, we can say air traffic control, embedded control system. Why embedded control system? Suppose we are using a different hardware. So different hardwares will have different softwares associated with it, right? You cannot develop a generic software for that. Then traffic monitoring system, yes, different airline systems or different this will have their own traffic control monitoring systems. So this is about generic and customized product. So this is what I said. If it is a generic product, specification of what software should be owned will be owned by the software developer, and decisions on software change are also made by the developer. So see, if it is a generic product, you are the whole and sole decision maker. So when you are the whole and sole decision maker, it can either be a success or it can be a failure. Everything is on your head. But when you go to customized products, you don't take any decisions. Okay, there will be a customer who will take decisions, and you will come up with a software based on those decisions or based on those specified things or requirements given by the customer. Okay, so the requirements in case of generic products is given by the software developer, whereas requirements in case of customized products are given by the customer. Understood? Any doubts in this? If you want, you can read it. If it was in the class, I would have asked students. Okay, Kamal Nayan asks whether just now I read your question, sir. Cloud computing is generalized or customized. To answer your question, if you are using generic clouds or something like Google Cloud or Amazon Cloud, which is available and you're renting, that it becomes generic. But Google, Amazon, or IBM, they develop customized clouds also for certain companies wherein security is a prominent feature. So I think there is, I don't know whether you have observed, for certain cloud services, suppose Infosys is accessing a cloud service, they will never go for a general cloud which is available in Amazon. They will ask for a specific cloud computing or cloud space in the Amazon, reason being a security feature. And there is a cost involved for that. So it can be both generic as well as customizable. Did I answer your question, Kamal? Okay. Fine. Did you read the PPT? The slide? Are you clear? So, shall I go ahead? Next we have entry ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀನಿ sir update. 1 second. So let's go to the next slide. What are the frequently asked questions about software engineering? So first question is, what is software? Can you all read out? Two classes. Yeah, thanks, Mansa. Okay. What is a software? Computer program and associated documentation. Software products may be developed for a particular. Hmm. ಏನೇ So, till now you said, all of you said, it is a computer program. What does it mean by associated documentation? Can someone say? The second statement is nothing but it can be a general or it is a customized product. So, what do you mean by associated documentation? Guidelines, yes, correct. See, whenever you download a software, you will check, right? There will be certain things, how to install, how to use, and all that. That is nothing but the documentation associated with the software. Fine. So, what is the next one? What are the attributes of a good software? So, how do you say a software is good? Fine. I can say you are a good student. There are certain qualities. You attend classes regularly, you study well, you listen to teachers, all that qualities, right? Or attributes, right? So, what are the attributes of a software so that we can say it is a good software? So, one is it should deliver the required functionality. What do I mean by deliver the required functionality? Whatever is expected of the software, it should do that. So if I say it should create an account, it should be able to create an account. If an account is already created, it should give the message or something like that. I have certain things or expectations from the software, right? It should be able to deliver that. Next thing is performance to the user. What do you mean by performance to the user? Performance means, yes, I want to create an account, is what the functionality. Yes, it will create an account, but it will take 1 day to do that. So, is that performance good? No, right? So, that is what, or maybe, yes, it will create, but it requires very high configuration, or it will not work, so and so configuration is not there, or it will work only if there is a browser, so and so browser. So, that is nothing but the performance. And the next thing is it should be maintainable, dependable, and usable. What do you mean by maintainable? Okay, I will only say it means maintainable. Maintainable means assume tomorrow my creating of a Google account is working in Windows 10. I'm sorry, Windows 8. Tomorrow, Windows 10 came into picture. So, my software should also work in the new environment. So naturally, it will not work as it is, right? We have to make some changes. So the making the changes or maintaining that system should be easier. It should be not like, oh, it will not work for Windows 10 at all. So let me scrap it and rewrite it. So that is, it means that it is not maintainable. So if your system or a software can upgrade easily for new requirements, then we say it is maintainable. Did you understand the term maintainable? Because now you will be hearing that term very often. I mean, every topic you will be using that term maintainable. So, are you clear with that? The term maintainable? Next class, I'll ask these terms. What does that mean? Next thing is dependable. Okay, dependable means yes, it will work all times correctly. We can also say it is reliable. It means that it will not do whatever is expected. It will do it correctly. It will not give something like something unexpected things will not happen. Okay, security is also one of the things. Usable, yes, it is easy to use. I mean, it should not be that very difficult to learn how to use your software. It will take so much of training. Okay, easily usable. So usable is nothing but, let's take for example, certain softwares. They are so well written that you can just read it and use it, and there will be no issues. But certain softwares, what it will require, it will ask you to read the manual, go through it. Right? Maintenance include. Okay, someone has put a question. Um, does maintenance include updates? Yes. Uh, yeah, updates. Yes, Saif. And did I clear your doubts? So, did you understand what do you mean by the attributes of a good software? All of you? Performance, maintainability, dependability, and usability. Usability is nothing but it should be easy to use, ease of use. What is software engineering? So let's go to the next topic. What is software engineering? Software engineering is an engineering discipline that is concerned with all aspects of software production. That is, everything related for developing a software is under software engineering. Now, before going to the fundamental activities of software engineering, I will take up the next question. What is the difference between software engineering and computer science? Now, please read this answer. Computer science focuses on theory fundamentals. Software engineering is concerned with practicalities of developing and delivering a useful software. So, did you understand that difference? I it says, see, all this is completely from the textbook. Okay, I'm not giving my own answers or definitions. Software science, it focuses on theory and fundamentals. I'm sorry, computer science. Whereas software engineering, it is concerned with practicalities of developing and delivering a useful software. Did you get this? Yes. Anyone who did not understand? You can say no, it is fine. I have no issues with that. Okay. If anyone has not understood, I will give you an example. Listen carefully. I want to develop a software product that is a search engine. I hope you all know search engine like your Google. If you type on the toolbar, okay, it will, if you say something like PPT on SC, software engineering, it will search for all the data within the web and get you the results, right? That is a search engine. Fine. I hope you all know what do you mean by a search engine. Now, Let's say in this search engine product, if you want to develop, what is the computer science associated with it and what is the software engineering associated with it? I'll just try to explain. Computer science says everything, including technical knowledge. Like maybe for searching, we have so many searching algorithms. So many searching algorithms like binary search, this so many I you can name so many algorithms are there, or artificial intelligence, everything, yeah, hashing, everything. So your computer science deals with the algorithms, what technical, someone said MVC pattern this way and all that. Everything is included in your computer science. Whereas software engineering is only concerned with, it will not say which algorithm or technique you are using. Okay, it will say how to use this algorithm, or when will you use, or how to use this algorithm. That will be there in software engineering. So the software engineering is a discipline of computer science. So what theory, what algorithms, everything is included in computer science. Whereas software engineering tells what are the steps you have to follow, and in which step what you will include. In first step, will you include all this algorithm? Second step, you will use what? What are the steps you will follow, guidelines you will follow, rules you will follow, that is given within software engineering. Did you get my example? Yes or no? Fine. At least I would not say 100%, but at least 60 to 70% if you have understood, it is very good. Right? I can't expect a student in the first day itself tell me everything about it. I'm fine, but at least you should have a basic knowledge. Okay? A common knowledge about what it is. So shall I continue? I hope everyone are clear what is computer science and what is software engineering. Next, I will take up the question, what are the fundamental software engineering activities? So, ma'am, you are telling policies, guidelines, rules, and all this. What are these rules? The four basic things or guidelines within software engineering is, don't ever forget this. Whatever you learn in software engineering, it will come under this. First one is software specification. Second one is software development. Third one is software validation. Fifth one is fourth one is software evolution. I want all of you to write it down. Have a chit, write it down. Four things which are or the fundamental things within software engineering. Your entire textbook, your entire syllabus, wherever you learn software engineering, whatever you learn, it comes in this four categories or in this four activities. Specification or requirements. Next is development. Third one is testing. You can also call it as, validation. You can also call it as testing. Last one is evolution. Now write it down and think about it. What does it mean? Okay? I'll give you 2 minutes. Then you should tell me what do you mean by each of this. By now, everything here is like not technical jargons. I hope you all understand what do they mean. Okay, you can, even if you're not a software, you're not related to software. What does those terms mean. Please let me know. Okay, I'll give you 1 minute for that. Meanwhile, I can drink a little bit of water. Fine? So, fine. I think I gave you sufficient time. So even if you could not understand the literary meaning, you could have just opened another browser and Googled it. Right? How many of you did that? What? No one is replying. Or no one did anything. Yes, can someone switch on your audio also and can talk? Now, did you all take a break? Just respond fast. Search for the terms. Good, sir. Even someone would ask me something new, I would also have done the same thing. So it's nothing wrong. Only thing is for your exam, you write it. Whatever you have learned, you write it. For your internals and your exam, that is what I expect. So, Tushar, what did you learn in the internet about? First, that is software specifications, requirements of a particular software. Yes. So, Tushar, what did you learn then? Saif says requirements of particular software. Now, Tushar, do you want you? Oh, specifying properties of software as per yes. Aditya Raj, coding or building, validation, testing, evolution, updation, and modifications. Good. Aditya, yes. See, software engineering, you might find it, what is this, ma'am? You're telling your entire software engineering syllabus, or not only this syllabus, wherever you go, your entire software engineering is only these four activities. First one is this specification. Specification is nothing but requirements gathering. What do I mean by requirements gathering? Something I want to do, I don't go and just start coding, right? I think about it. Whether I think about it, whether yes, thanks for all your responses. Just hear what I want to tell now. Okay. So, what is the specifications? It is nothing but requirements gathering. Ma'am, is this required for software development? Let's say if you want to do a software to just print a message on the screen, fine, like your C program, Hello World, ma'am. Then there is no requirement for software specification or requirement gathering. But anyone does develop a software which is so simple? No, right? Usually, software developments are little bit complex programs. Even if you want to develop a website or a web page, okay, a, a website with a single web page also, there are certain requirements, right? Like I can tell you, simple web page, okay, or logging in. Let's say Google account logging in web page. Ma'am, what is there in the requirements there? Now, I will say my requirements that login page should work in IE, that is your Internet Explorer. It should be able to work in your Chrome. It should be able to work in Mozilla. Then I will say it should be able to work in both Unix as well as Windows operating system. And again, another requirement I will say, not only in my laptop, it should be able to work in my Android OS, that is in my phone also. See, only regarding where it should work, I have how many requirements? Six to seven requirements, right? Yes or no? Then I will say, I have color blindness. So, the web page should be designed in such a way that people who are color blind also should be able to view it properly. Isn't this a requirement? Yes. Then I will say I don't have political affiliation towards any party or anything. So it should, the color should be neutral. So if I use saffron, you will say it is something. So if I use some other icon or image or something like that, right? So I would say politically neutral. That is also one requirement. See, one single web page I just gave you here, logging in 10 requirements. Imagine if it is a real time, if I can go on like this and can specify around 50 requirements for one single web page. Did you get this? So, requirements gathering is very important. See, actually, this is your first module. I have to complete it early. But again, these things are there within the next chapter. I'm not going to explain it in detail like this. So, please listen carefully. It will apply wherever requirements gathering comes into picture, that is software specification comes into picture. Okay. I hope it is fine with you people, right? Rather than repeating it again and again, I will just while giving, I'll give you enough examples and enough things I will tell. So if someone asks you about requirement specification, now you should be able to tell about 4 or 5 lines where. So yes, I go on taking the requirement specifications. Now, as per here also, there are other things you have to consider, like whether it is a generic product, then the requirements will be given by software developer. If it is a customized product, then the requirements will be given by the customer. So requirements part play a important role. Now what happens if I don't do this requirement specification? Directly I will go with the software or that development. That is the web pages example I gave. I will not gather requirements, ma'am. Directly I will write the software for that. Okay, fine. I write the software. Now, while writing the software in my system, I have Chrome, so I build my application for Chrome. Now, after developing, I see like someone is or my friend. I tell, see, I've developed a website which is very good, very nice, user friendly. This, that, and all. It is better than Gmail. Check it out. Now, your friend is using Mozilla Firefox. He cannot open that. So what happens? He will say, I cannot open. I don't use Chrome because of some reason. What do I do? So you will say, no, fine. I will change my software again. And what I should do? Redevelop it and make it or make changes so that it works for the other requirement, that is Firefox. Yes. So isn't it more effort redoing work? Agreed. But if you were clear about your requirements earlier, would this be a problem? Did you get it? Why software requirement specifications or requirements is very important? So this is for simple product or a software what I'm talking about. Imagine complex products like your Excel, your Word and everything. Fine. Next is, so that is why requirements is the first stage and very important stage. Next stage is software development. Once you're clear with the requirements, that is what you have to develop or what your product has to do, then you start with coding or building. That is what you did in your last semester, that is writing programs in C programming language. So you develop program based on the specifications or input given from the first step. So software development is always followed by requirements gathering. Am I clear, all of you? Hmm. Adding latest functionality to previous version. Yes, sir, you can tell that also. Development can be development from the scratch or it can be redevelopment. There are certain things for that you will learn that. Okay, you can add more to it, but time being, okay, I will accept your answer. Development adding. Huh. Okay, fine. Fixing bugs is fine. Development, we call it as maintenance. But yes, what shall I say? Okay, fine, sir. You think it of as a development only. Okay, but I'll go to the last step. Then you will only answer what does that mean. Okay, wait for another 5 minutes. Yes, Aryan and who was it? Monisha. Monisha. So development is nothing but coding or writing the code for based on your requirements. The third step is validation. What do I mean by validation? Validation is checking whether the program what you have written is working fine or not. Okay, and excuse me. So in order to do that, what you do, you check, you developer develops it, and he tests the product. So while testing, he will see whether what and all is there in the requirements, the product is doing as it is. So whatever functionality you have specified, it is working based on that. So one use of software specification is, it allows for the testing also. Assume you had told in your requirements that your software page will develop work only in IE and Chrome. Then while testing, if the tester says or someone says no, it is not working in Firefox, you will say yes, it will not work, because in requirement you had asked me to do this, I have done that. Correct? So validation is nothing but testing the software to check whether it is working based on or doing whatever functionality it has to do. So actually, test validation, or it is also called testing, this is done by a group of people called testers. Development is done by programmers. Sometimes it happens that developers only will do testing if it is a small product. Okay. Then you have a evolution. Now, for people who had that doubts, evolution means your product is developed. Okay, and there, what you do is, there are it is working fine, but after 2 years, your requirements change. Now, I said about this website logging in product, right? Tomorrow maybe there comes a new browser. So you have a new requirement that my software has to work with the new browser. Okay. Now, you will not rewrite it or develop it from scratch. You will update the available software. That is known as software evolution. Here you do updation as well as modifications. So, if there was any errors, if there was any new requirement, you do it within evolution. Yes, after validation, it can go back to software development, but certain times what happens is, I'll give you an example. You are working in Microsoft products, right? Windows 10 or your Microsoft Office. Have you ever observed when something goes wrong? Okay, with that application, it will ask, do you want to report this problem? Have you got that message? Do you want to report this problem? And it will say okay, then it will say all the logs or something will be sent to the website, or will be sent to the owner. Have you observed that? Yes, report an issue. Yes, yes. What do they do with that? See, when you have an issue, what they do is, Microsoft or whatever company that product you are using, they will take all the log. What do you mean by log is, why did this problem occur? Why did this problem occur? They will analyze everything. When where is this log? Their products will have it. You will not be able to see that. So they will collect all your data which led to this problem. Okay, when they collect the data, what they do is, they will check or reproduce this problem, whether it was a problem from their software, or whether it was something that they had not anticipated. Now, if they had not anticipated, or if it is a bug, what they do is, they fix that bug. Yes, sir. They fix that bug, and every time your system, when you shut down and restart sometime, new updates available, will it ask, and it will take so much time to upload your updates. I hope all will have faced that. 10%, 20, whenever you want to start to work on something, it will give you a message, new updates available. I hope you have faced that problem, right? That is what they do. They fix your bugs and they put it in the new updates. So next time when you're using that system or using the update, they would have fixed the bug if it is so. So system evolution and maintenance is nothing but adding new features as well as updating or checking your system for any um, what issues and fixing that, and they come up with a new update. I hope did it clear your doubts, Aryan and Monisha, who asked about fixing bugs and updates, maintenance, and everything. So where does maintenance and updates come into picture? It's evolution. So did you understand all the four things, all of you, and any doubts in this? Again, you have this topic, and that time I'm not going to explain. I think I've explained enough, half an hour, along with examples. Yes or no? Others? Okay, thank you. Next we have is what is between software engineering and system engineering. So system engineering, all aspects of the computer based system of development. That is hardware, software, process, everything. Whereas software engineering is a part of this. See, software engineering is only concerned with the rules of writing the software. Okay, whereas system engineering, what hardware you are using, what software you are using, and what is the process or techniques you are using, everything comes into picture in system engineering. So, software engineering is a part of your system engineering. Okay with this? I hope this difference is clear. You can read it out. Last question. Shall I go to the move to the next slide? The next topic is essential attributes of a good software. First one is maintainability. I think I've said enough about maintainability, but still, once again, if you can see, it should evolve to meet the changing needs of the customer. This is a critical attribute because software changes inevitable requirement for changing business environment. Maintainability is a very important attribute. Why? Today I develop a software. Naturally, there will be after 2 years it will become obsolete, or there will be not obsolete. I can say new things will arrive. So changes is inevitable. So when there is a change required, you don't develop it from the scratch. What do? You build on top of what is available. Why can't we write it from scratch? Imagine Windows, okay, operating system. They started from versions, 1 Windows, whatever, 5, 6, whatever came, 8, 10, XP, like that. They build on top of it rather from scratch. Why? If you try to build it from scratch, first of all is cost and the other is time, right? It will be more cost and it will take more time. By the time they develop it, there will be new thing which will already come into the market, and theirs will again become obsolete. So changes are inevitable. So when there is a change, your software should be maintainable. Why it should be maintainable? Maintainable means you can add new features to it without making a major, without causing major problems. Like you should not say like, no, I can't add a new feature on this, it will never work. Your software should never be like that. It should be capable of taking more features or adaptable. It should be more adaptable. Fine. Next is dependability and security. Software dependability includes reliability, security, and safety. Now, reliability means it should be reliable. So, what do you mean by reliable? Can someone say what do you mean by reliable? Leave off software reliability. When I say general, what do you mean by reliable? Not usable. No. Hmm. Dependable, no. Consistency, okay, fine. Not sustainable. When I say some person is reliable, what does it mean? Okay, stable, dependent. See, it is like now. Sometimes I develop a software and it works. Sometimes it does not work. Sometimes and it gives proper answers in some. It works properly in some cases, and it is not. See, trusted, authenticate. No. Okay, reliable means something which is I can depend upon it. Like every time it works or gives the same result. Now, if your system is not working for something, every time it should not work. Okay, but sometimes it does and sometimes it does not. Then I say it is not reliable. Sometimes it is doing and sometimes it is not. So that is reliability. Okay, so it means that I am reliable on that software. Next is security, and there is safety. What is the meaning? What is the difference between security and safety? So reliability means something which does not fail. So I can say that it does. Um, Software I've developed, it will never fail to an extent. Okay, I am dependent, or I can say that I am. I know that it will work in all cases in this way. So, what is the difference between security and safety? Yeah, security and safety. No. Yeah, reply someone. Secure means some unauthenticated person should not be able to access the system. So, what do I mean by safety? Sometime, it may not happen to always software products, something like embedded systems. Okay, if I'm using IoT tools or some electronic based tools, it crashes or it results in a fire, all that, or sparks come. So all that kind of things is safety. Secure is nothing but authentication and unauthenticated person will not access that. Okay. So did you get the difference between security and safety? So dependable software means it should not cause physical or economic damage. Physical means it should not hurt or do something for the people as well as for the system also. It does should not happen anything. Economic also means that if I lose something, okay, now a server is gone, a system is gone, I paid so much of amount. So it is a results in loss, right? So my software, I should always say, it should be dependable. Now this is what malicious user. This is nothing but a security. Should not be able to access or damage the system. Next is attribute of a good software is efficiency. Software should not make a wasteful use of system resources like memory and power. That is, your system should efficiently use the computing resources. Most of the times it is memory and processor. And it can also be responsiveness, processing time, memory utilization. Processing and memory, what do you mean by responsiveness? One example for responsiveness. Okay, you send me a message, I'm responding late, so my response is not good. Fine. So you are giving some instructions to your computer or your software, it is not responding or it is not fast reply. Yeah. So that is nothing but responsiveness. So, how fast your system responds is also a parameter for a good software. If you're like a video website, it keeps on circling, circling, circling. Will you use it? Response is good, no, right? But as soon as you click or something like that and you get a response, then I say it is a responsiveness or response is good. Acceptability. Now, software is acceptable for the users. Must all types of users. It should be understandable, usable, and compatible with other systems that they use. Understandable is nothing but how they have developed and what it is, everything, whatever they have asked. It should be like understandable. Usable is nothing but ease of use. It should not be complicated. Compatible. Now, if I develop a software and if I say it will work on so and so only, then then it should be like I have a system, so I should be able to use that software in this available system, or it should be compatible with whatever systems I'm already using. You can't say that yes, this will work only in this one, buy another product to use my software. Then will they use yours? No. So that is nothing but acceptability. So these are the attributes, very important question this is. What are the attributes of a good software? One is maintainability, dependability, security, efficiency, and acceptability. Fine. Yes, understood. Okay. Now tell me what and all I told you yesterday about the subject. See, in your exam, one question is what do you mean by software engineering? What are the different process activities involved in software engineering? What are the attributes of a good software? Okay, fine. This is only part 1 of module 1. This will come for 8 marks and you have to write for around 2 or 3 pages. So, imagine in your textbook you have around 10 pages. This kind of data, will it be possible for you to by heart and write? So, how do you write? You will remember these points. What is software engineering? What are the phases? That is 4 I said. See, this is one example. Someone asked, how do we write in the internals, ma'am? Then, okay, for them. Who was the person who asked me, how will you write it in the exam, ma'am? So they club these 3 questions. What will you do? Now you will remember these points. You have to by heart these points. Okay. And regarding this, and you have studied in the textbook, as well as you know what does it mean. I've taught you in the class also. So you have to remember those points and write. So what will I check? How do I evaluate? I will see what you have written, fundamental activities. I will see whether your four things also you have there. No, if you have missed one point here out of four activities, one, I will remove 2 marks. And whatever you have explained, specifications, I know it should be their requirements. Development, I know coding and everything, you should have written it. And validation, I know that you would have written about testing. Right? Similarly, attributes. Attributes, I will check whether all these four are there. Are you getting my point? I think another. Hmm. And once these four attributes are there, I will check whether you have included what is reliability, what is this, and that is how I will evaluate. I will see those points, and within those points, there should be some explanation. Yes, we can make out whether it is related to that topic or not. Did you get it? Yes or no? Fine. Okay. So, are you able to understand? Am I going too fast? Am I going too slow? Or am I using too much of examples which you feel which is not required? So, I want a feedback of yours, so that next class I don't make the same mistake and you feel bored about it. So, let me know if I'm going slow. I can be a little faster. If I'm fast for some people, yes, I can try to be a little bit slow. Monisha says, no, ma'am, not a problem. Others, fine. Okay. That it's a theoretical subject like this. Actually, I can explain only theory from the textbook for 1 hour, but it will be like too much of theory, and you will not be able to hear. That's why I try to give here and there all kinds of examples, that is real time examples. You can take this in your textbook, there will be no examples like that. Okay, but you can remember this and write points about it. That's the main aim for me to give you these examples. Fine with this? Anytime if you feel that I'm going fast, slow, or anything like that, you can let me know. Okay? So I'll stop at this stage. I will take the attendance. So I'll stop sharing. Meanwhile, if you have any doubts or anything, you can put it in the, um, you can post your questions. Okay, let me open your attendance. So by then, if you have any questions, please post.